Alright, welcome to yet another Bright Side video. And here is the most underrated dinosaurs that no one talks about. I have no idea what to expect. I've only seen the first 30 seconds of this video, and I just said, hey, why not? So let's get into it.
Hundreds of dinosaur species roamed our planet, and researchers give a name to a new type approximately every 2 weeks.
Maybe not. I don't wanna say that it's not true, but I don't wanna say that it's true. I don't want to say that's not true because then that'd be me saying that paleontology is my profession, and I don't want to put that label on me. So, but it probably is inaccurate knowing Brightside.
It's not fair to stick to T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Spinosaurus, and other famous sauruses all the time. They've had their
Other famous sources. Okay, so Saurus or Saur/Sauruses or Saurus. Sorry, not this, but Saur/Saurus comes from the Greek word sauros, okay? It means lizard. So basically what he's saying is, uh, excuse me, there are a lot of famous lizards out there.
chance to shine in the movies and across the internet. So let's check out dinosaurs that no one talks about. First on our list is Torosaurus. The special thing about this dinosaur
That is a Triceratops model. Second of all, in the paleontological community, I don't know if that's what it would be considered, but it's actually one of the more talked about uh ceratopsians, along with of course Triceratops, uh Ceratops because of its striking resemblance to modern day bulls, and Chasmosaurus, I do believe.
is that it definitely had one of the largest skulls ever found. It was big because of this frill going from the back of the animal's
Is that not just a Triceratops skull?
skull and covering its neck. The frill wasn't there for protection. It
Now, I will be honest with you, right now I am completely blanking on the Torosaurus. Oh, I'm remembering now. Okay. Yes, that would have been the
was
correct skull.
probably just to show off a bit. The bone in the frill was thin and full of holes.
Now that definitely is just a Triceratops. There is no way that that is a Torosaurus skeleton.
As you can see, it's very similar to Triceratops.
Because that is a Triceratops model and not a Torosaurus model.
There are still debates about whether these two are the same species, but more and
They are not the same species.
more studies show that they were more like cousins. They were probably similar in size, but Torosaurus had a longer head with big openings, as well as longer frill bones with a groove on top. It also had more pairs of horns on the back of the frill. Some like to call Torosaurus a bull lizard. These fellas were
Like I said earlier, Nastuceratops is talked about a lot because of its resemblance to what? Modern day bulls. So, based on past evidence that I have given, I think that that point goes to me.
plant eaters that may have lived in social groups. They existed at approximately the same age, but Torosaurus somehow ended up on the less popular side of the family.
He loves
Oh,
that
come
little baby.
on.
Wait till you see the other two. I was thinking of gifting one to
Yeah,
each of
this
you.
is your first
I got
video of
AT&T's
mine
bundle
on
of three.
Brightside.
Get iPhone 16 Pro
You'll
on
know
us,
that
plus iPad
we
and
hate
Apple Watch for
ads
99
here.
cents per month each, and save up to $1,700.
I joined the
Oh,
Old
yeah.
Spice Hair Rescue crew really to make a difference. I look around and see
anyways,
guys like this with flat, dry.
Kentrosaurus was a small stegosaurus.
That looks to be a Nodosaurus. Not even a Stegosaurid. Also, Kentrosaurus is pretty popular. Look at things like Jurassic. I don't remember if it's titled Jurassic World or Jurassic Park, but Camp Cretaceous. That has a lot. There is a Kentrosaurus in Camp Cretaceous that has a lot to do with it.
It's one of the least cuddly dinosaurs of all time. Its long, thin spine
Yeah, well, maybe because you're showing footage of a Nodosaurus. Or actually, that's probably a sort of Sauropelta.
seemed to be a pretty good defense mechanism. Stegosaurus, on the other hand, had shorter, thicker spikes that were less likely to bend or snap when the animal used them. Now, you wouldn't want to get anywhere near
Again, more footage of Sauropelta and what looks to be an irritator?
Kentrosaurus, though. Its tail could swing in a big half circle and hit with a force strong enough to break a human skull. Any volunteers? No? Okay. One scientist used scans of the dino's fossils to make a computer model of its
Why are you now showing a Tyrannosaurid skull?
skeleton. The model showed that Kentrosaurus had a
That is a Stegosaurus, believe it or not. Brightside, have we done our research?
flexible neck. It must have been really useful for looking
More Sauropelta footage.
around to see if something interesting was going on or if there was any dangerous animals trying to sneak up. Kentrosaurus typically walked on all four legs with straight hind limbs. The computer model tells us it could spread its front legs out to its sides too. Maybe
Yeah, that is because that is a Stegosaurus that you just showed us, and you're showing footage of Nodosaurus and or Sauropelta.
it was a way to protect its belly during fights. Stegosauruses, in general, had tails that were like big weights at the back of their body.
Stegosaurus is not the correct way of saying it. It is Stegosaurids, or if you want to be really scientific and specific, then you say Stegosauridae. That is the genus.
That's why their balance point was closer to their hips. That's also the reason why they could easily stand on their
That is called a gait.
hind legs and swing their tails around.
They would not be able to stand on their hind legs, I guarantee you that.
So most people haven't heard of Heterodontosaurs, even though their fossils show that dinosaurs got feathers way back before we thought and in groups where we didn't expect it. In 2008, paleontologists identified the first known skull of a baby Heterodontosaurus, which
I've never actually heard of this, believe it or not.
was less than 2 inches long, smaller than a tea bag. This baby dinosaur had relatively big eyes
This is actually sounding like Moros Intrepidus, now that I think about it.
and a short snout compared to bigger ones of its kind. Now, what's really interesting is that some scientists used to think that Heterodontosaurus's tusks, like those of modern warthogs, only appeared when they were fully grown. But it seems they had them from the early stages of their life. Heterodontosaurus had 5 fingers on each hand, 2 of which were opposable. It was a
Now, I will say, he's saying, like like Heterodontosaurus is not a clade, but a genus. So,
Good tool, considering the animal probably ate both plants and meat.
also this footage is looking like Utahraptor, maybe Velociraptor. I'm going with Utahraptor because of the shape of the face.
Humans have different types of teeth, some for biting, some for chewing, and also canines. But most reptiles have just one kind of teeth. Heterodontosaurus was special because it had 3 different types of teeth: small peg-like ones, big teeth resembling canines, and square-shaped teeth that did the cutting job. Scientists are not entirely sure how this creature used these different types of teeth. Maybe it was for digging up roots, breaking into termite nests, or even defending themselves against dangerous animals. Okay, say this name with me now: Psittacosaurus. She was quite a common dinosaur in its time, but she never...
Yeah, this is actually quite well known, mainly because of the spines on its tail. That's actually the reason why it's the most popular, and the cheek spikes. I'm pretty sure that it is actually a ceratopsian, believe it or not.
Still gained popularity. Scientists found out that when these dinosaurs were young, they probably crawled, considering they had longer arms and short legs. But as they got older, between 4 and 6 years old, their hind legs started growing much faster and became much longer than their front legs.
I also want to say for a second, I love that they're showing actual images of the dinosaurs.
So, later in life, they likely didn't move on all 4s anymore, but walked on 2 legs. Inside the stomach of one of these creatures, scientists found pebbles. This shows the animals either had a hard time digesting what it ate, or it didn't chew its food very well. Its beak looks quite familiar. That's how it got its specific name, a parrot lizard. It was really strong, and some believe the creature used it to crack and open tough nuts and seeds before the pebbles in its stomach helped mash them up for digestion.
Amazon last-minute deals are here.
Not again.
These guys might have been good at swimming. They had broad feet, and the shape of their tail,
as far as I know, there's no evidence whatsoever that backs this up,
could have helped them move in the water relatively easily. Some scientists even believe they might have spent most of their life swimming in rivers and lakes. In 2004, researchers found something really sweet: 24 young parrot lizards huddled together. They were too big to be hatchlings.
Just say the actual name, or don't even try. Just say of them, because we know what dinosaur you're talking about. Just say them or say the actual name.
So it could be a bunch of teenagers who had left their nests and then formed a group where they could support one another and defend themselves better. But apparently that plan didn't work out so well. Now check this one out: Stygimoloch, or
Stygimoloch. Actually, you can actually read, or you can actually say how it's pronounced with this one. Right? Yeah, you can. But it's similar to Dracorex and Pachycephalosaurus, obviously because of its head. Dracorex being the least popular of the 3, actually. Stygimoloch, of course, being the second, and of course the first being the most popular of the 3, being Pachycephalosaurus. So Stygimoloch actually is quite talked about.
as they call it, Styx demon. We're looking at a peaceful plant-eating creature with bony spikes and knobs on its skull. Most scientists believe it was a younger form of this fellow, even though they used to think they were a separate species. Stygimoloch is smaller.
Most likely, no. Like, not at all, even close, because the horns on their head, if you will, were much longer than Pachycephalosaurus. Pachycephalosaurus had much more of a dome rather than a shield, if you will.
Its more popular cousin, but it's also more robust and has a pretty thick neck. This dinosaur, with small forelimbs and long hind legs, 3 feet high, which is half as high as an average human. That doesn't sound dangerous in the world of giant and fierce dinosaurs, but the animal had a very thick skull roof. Maybe it wasn't the strongest tool to defend itself, but it probably helped in combat with rivals from its own species. They most likely headbutted to win the hearts of their chosen ones.
Yeah, much like deer do today, and much like how hippos, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm sure you know what they do to compete. There's a lot of stuff like that that goes on in nature for competition. It's very similar and involves something to do with the head, whether it's locking, whether it's headbutting. But yeah, it's a very common thing to see in nature, so it's not surprising if they did that.
But rivals from its own herd were a piece of cake compared to the predators that might have gone after it. After all, this dino lived at the same time as old T-Rex. Now, when someone tells you to picture a dinosaur, Chisaosaurus would probably be the last thing coming to your mind.
I will say I've heard of this one, other than the other one that I said I knew nothing about. I've heard of this one. I don't know anything about it.
It looks as if you've put together pieces of random animals and tried to make your friends believe this truly was a real animal that once roamed the earth. But it's actually a dino with giant sharp claws on its forelimbs, a bulky body, and a long neck ending with a tiny head. Now, don't let the claws scare you though. These creatures didn't go after other animals since they were herbivores, but these claws could protect the animal from intruders and predators. The full scientific name of this creature describes it as a giant sloth-like reptile from China. This animal was one of the biggest and oldest members of the group where it belonged, which lived around 115.
Whoa. You just went from making your representation look like it's accurate to, yeah, we're bright side and we're gonna do whatever the heck we want.
Million years ago. No, I wasn't around then. At first, it was hard to tell which animals were related to this weird-looking dinosaur. But in the 1990s, scientists made a conclusion that they were modified plant-eating theropods, which is similar to carnivorous dinos. They also most likely had feathers and small wings, like some sort of a very big turkey.
Just say it was a small therizinosaur, which actually might be what's happening here. Or, as he said, just say it's a small turkey.
That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and
My curiosity was not pacified. Oh, this one did a number on me. None of them were underrated aside from the ones that I didn't know, which really was only one. The others were not underrated whatsoever, except for the last one. You never hear anybody talk about that. But yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video of, let's call it Brightside Expeditions. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed this video of Brightside Expeditions. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.